Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got a window card for you. Now I just mainly want to show you how I created the window card. So you can see from the Birthday Blooms stamp set, I've watercoloured this beautiful flower, cut it out, and it just sits so it's like a window. This part here is a window, and I've put this front panel on adhesive foam strips, which I'll go through with you and show you, but there's a few techniques on how to create this window card. So I'm going to be using a different flower that I've already watercolored just to save a little bit of time for you. So we'll get started and show you how to create this window card. Now to start with, I've got a piece of elegant eggplant. So it's 11 inches long by 4 1/4 wide, and then scored of course at 5 1/2. And then we're just going to burnish that. So that's your first thing that you need, is that. So we'll just set that aside. Then you will need a piece of Whisper White, which is 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so also what I've used from the Stitch Shape framelits, I've used the two largest square framelits. Now you can use your layering squares, but I just use the Stitch Shape framelits for those that haven't seen them. Just get them open for you. So that's the Stitch Shape framelits. You've got your circles, your ovals and your squares, and as I said, I've used the two largest from the squares. Okay, so to start with, we need to use the smallest square, and using with your base card, what you're going to do is just place that on your front of your base card, and I would recommend you use your magnetic platform when you're putting it through your big shot so it doesn't move. So just eyeball it. You can measure it with a ruler if you want to be that precise, and just have it, and just run that through the big shot. Okay, then you're going to run that through the big shot, and then we're going to have this. So I've run it through the big shot and I've got that cut out. Okay, so then we're going to take our 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and you're going to place that inside there. And then what I would do then is, once you've adhered that inside there, like that, you stamp your sentiment first, because as in this tutorial, as in this card, sorry, I've stamped the "For You" first, because this is going to be very built up with the adhesive foam strips. That's going to be hard for you to stamp that. So with my second card, I'm not going to be using the I'm not going to put a sentiment in there because I'm doing it differently. So I'm just going to glue that in now. So this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and you'll need another piece of Whisper White, exactly the same measurements, 5 1/4 by 4 inches for the front of your card as well. So just pop that in there. rub it down. So just remember, when you're doing the window card, you must stamp your sentiment now before we start doing the front. So then you've got your piece in there ready. Okay, so then you, as I said before, you need another piece of Whisper White that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and this time we're going to use the larger square framelit. So the trick to that is bringing this back in. Now this is going to go on the front of your card, so just place it on the front of your card. Do not glue. Place it on the front of your card and carefully holding it in place, turn that over. Now take your pencil and you're going to draw a line on all 4 sides. This is going to help you with placement of where you want your large framelit to be cut out. So then, I've done that a bit crooked, but it's just giving you the idea. I'll actually do it again. I must have had it a bit crooked. Or I might have moved it. So I just put a mark on all 4 sides. That's better. So then you're going to put your large framelit, position it so that the 4 pencil marks are pretty even on all sides. When I say even, I mean the space between the framelit and the pencil mark is all pretty much the same. And then you're going to run that through your Big Shot. Okay? And then once you've done that, you're going to have this. So that's going to be the front piece that goes onto the front of your card. But then what I've done as well is using the embossing folder Fluttering, I've then put this piece through the embossing folder. So I just, because there's a big hole in the middle, what I do is I just line it up so I can see that I've got it pretty straight. You could even, you know, put a bit of washi tape on it, or if you wanted to be really precise, but I just did that, and then I just ran that through the Big Shot. Okay, it's just pretty simple. And then I came out with a lovely embossed fluttering piece for the front of my card. Okay, and then that is going to get attached to the front of your card like that. But what gives it the window effect is putting foam adhesive strips. Now, Stampin' Up brought out these adhesive foam strips. It's a bit hard for you to see. I'll get the open packet. So you just pull them off, and they have a little bit of paper on there that you just peel off and stick them down. So they're really easy to use. So I have already gone ahead. Now for a window card, I put one piece on the edge on all sides, and then I put one piece on all sides close to the square, so that it's going to give you more stability when you're pressing it down onto your card. And I've just had a couple of extra strips, so I just popped them in there. So it's up to you how much you put down. And then we're going to just eyeball it as straight as we can. Just looking at the square as well, because these adhesive strips are very strong adhesive. So because I've got all that under there, I can press down on there now, and it's going to, if I didn't have a lot of the foam strip underneath, I wouldn't be able to press down like this. And I might even just give it a bit of a rub on the back. It's a very effective card, this one. So the main purpose of the tutorial was to show you how to do that window card, and I just think it's quite effective. So, and as I said, you need to stamp your sentiment. If you're going to put a sentiment there, you need to stamp it before you put this piece on. Now, I've used this stamp set this time, the Awesomely Artistic, and I've stamped and cut out a couple of dragonflies and this image with the friend inside, and I've watercoloured this flower here instead of the birthday blooms in my original one. So that's the Awesomely Artistic flower, just love it. And I've watercoloured that on Arches Cold Press watercolour paper, 175 GSM, and I've added a little bit of Wink of Stella. You most probably can't tell, but I've added a bit of Wink of Stella on the top of it as well. And then I stamped and cut out 2 dragonflies from that set, and then I've got the friend stamped and cut out. So I'm going to put my friend, it just fits perfectly in there. So I don't want to put it on foam, because on dimensionals, because this is already sitting up on dimensionals and it's just going to be overkill. So I'm just going to put some glue on there so that I can pop that in there. But I just love this style card. And each one's going to look different, just depending which flower you use. And there's so many beautiful flowers from the Stampin' Up stamp sets that you can use. So that will be my sentiment inside. So like there. Now all I need to do is I need to glue this onto here, decide which way. I think I'll have it that way, like that. So I need my pencil again, because obviously some of it's not going to be glued all on, you're only gluing the bottom half. So I'm just going to hold that there, turn it over, and what I do is just a pencil line there that I can rub out later. Oh, that moved a little bit. That tells me that I don't want any glue on that part there. I just want it on this part. Okay. So this is the tricky bit. So, because you literally got to put it back down exactly where you had it. Because you don't want any glue. So there's a couple of little tips there. Just try and get your glue. You don't need that much, but I'm just trying to get a few dabs right on the edges because I want them to really glue down well. Now the trick is, just get my cotton bud and just pull a bit of that glue right out to the edges. You don't want too much because you don't want it oozing out once you adhere it to the card. Okay, so oops, so I need to just have a look here. As I say, this is the tricky bit because you can move it a little bit once it's down, but so I'm bringing it right down there, and I'm just going to have a quick look before it glues down. Oh, that's just perfect. That could most probably go up a little bit. Perfect. So there is a couple of little tricks there. That leaves a little bit going off, but I'm not really worried about that. I haven't got glue where I don't want it, which is a bonus. So I just get my bone folder and just lightly, because it's had overnight to dry, it's pretty good. But if you're doing it on watercolor paper, you're doing watercoloring, you need to make sure. So that's going to be there, and then I'm going to see if I can put one there, and I was going to put the other dragonfly up there on dimensionals. Sorry, I had the adhesive foam strips and I didn't have the dimensionals, so you only need one on each side. Just press in the middle, and the top bit just comes off. So this is my one that's going to go up here. So I'll just press down on my dimensionals. Like that. Then we just need 2 dimensionals on this one, and we're just about done. I'm going to come back and in my next tutorial and show you how I watercolored that flower using the aqua painter and my ink pads. It was just so quick and easy. It's just fabulous. So just have to make sure my dimensionals are going to So they're going to stick down there. So if his little tail comes up a bit like that, you just need to be really careful though, because it is very finely cut. Just twist it down a bit. That one's behaving itself. So that's the window card for today. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and I hope you'll give it a try. It's just something a little bit different, and you can use different flowers. Like this was my first one, using the Birthday Blooms stamp set, and this was my second one using the Awesomely Artistic stamp set. So I hope you'll give it a try, and thank you for stopping by and watching my tutorial today. Until next time, happy crafting!